species. Now the next thing you might notice is that large hooked beak right on the front of their face. That beak is excellent for cracking open their favorite nuts and seeds that they love to eat, but it's also so strong that they can actually use it like a third foot, which makes these birds pretty acrobatic by nature. Now, speaking of feet, parrots have what are called zygodactyl toes. Now, what does that word mean? Well, if you have a look there, you can see that they have 2 toes facing forward and 2 toes facing backwards. This gives these guys an excellent grip as they maneuver their way through the treetop canopies, as well as they can use their feet, much like we use our hands, holding on to large pieces of fruit and breaking off smaller chunks with that beak. Now, although these guys are pretty good on their feet, they are certainly a magnificent sight to see in flight. Those great big wings there can take these birds to speeds of up to 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. And they use their nice long tails there to steer themselves through the sky, fanning it out to put on the brakes for a nice and safe landing. But I do think that Fever, our scarlet macaw, and Levi, our blue-throated macaw, have done an excellent job showing off for us today. Let's give them a big round of applause. Well, we do happen to share this planet with over 10,000 different species of birds. That's almost 2 times as many bird species as there are mammal species. Now, some of these species are a little more exotic, like the parrots that you've just seen, but some are a little more common and recognizable. But you guys might be a little bit surprised to learn who the most valuable bird is. And you're in luck because we don't just have 1 or 2 here on safari, we actually have a few of them. But in order to get them on out here today, we are gonna have to make some noise. So stomp your feet, please. Clap your hands. Drum roll, please. Here they come. All right, guys. Anyone want to take a wild guess what kind of birds these are? Oh, sorry, can't hear you. That's right, they're chickens. Now, why am I calling chickens valuable? Well, it actually has to do with their impact in the poultry industry, which is currently a multi-billion-dollar industry, helping to feed healthy families all around the world. Now, a fun fact that you might not know about chickens is that they actually happen to outnumber us. They say by about 3 to 1. So as they head on home today, let's give them a big round of applause. They certainly deserve our respect. Well, since we do share the planet with such a wide variety of birds, plants, and animals, it's really, really important that we all do our part to help and take care of our planet. Now, one easy way in which we can all do this is by recycling. And so I'm going to make a little bit of a mess out here before we welcome our star recycler here on safari. His name is Minnie Joe. He is an African pied crow, and he is making his way in now. Now, this is the common crow species that you might see out in Africa, although they do look a lot like the American crow that we see around here. Now, the obvious difference between those 2 species is that white band around his neck and around his chest. Now, unfortunately for crows, no matter where we see them, they tend to have a pretty poor reputation. We often see these guys feeding on garbage and roadkill along the side of the road, and we might think of them as maybe a little bit gross and dirty. However, crows are actually doing quite a big favor to you and I. By eating this garbage and roadkill, they're actually helping to get rid of some very harmful germs and bacteria that may be found within our environment, which makes it a little bit safer for all of us. Now here at African Lion Safari, we've actually taken some green initiatives of our own. We've switched to paper products over plastic, as well as if you happen to take a seat on one of our park benches today, you may notice that it's made out of plastic that we've actually sourced from recycled milk jugs. So certainly recycling is one of the easiest ways in which we can all help out our planet. And so Minnie Joe's final message for us today is, if a crow can recycle, so can you. He's done a great job today. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Well, our next bird is an Australian species, and if you've been there before, you might recognize them right away. They're quite abundant in their native land of Australia, best well known in the animal kingdom for their laughing call. Coming in is Fez, and Fez is our laughing kookaburra. So this tiny little bird has a very distinct call, said to sound like the laughter of children. Now they do quite often use it as a territorial call, so how that would work is they'd fly to the edge of their territory, laugh out nice and loud, wait for their neighboring kookaburras to laugh back, and this would establish where one territory ends and the next one does begin. Now, if you've never seen a kookaburra but little Fez looks familiar to you, perhaps you've seen a belted kingfisher in our area. These guys are in fact the largest member of the kingfisher family. but I did introduce him as being a laughing kookaburra, so I'm hoping he has a bit of a chuckle for us here today. How cool is that, eh guys? He's done a great job. Let's hear from him. He's heading on home.
Well, we certainly do see birds just about everywhere we go. They might be in your very own backyard. Maybe they're the mascot of your favorite sports team, or maybe even the face of your favorite fruity cereal. Now, you might be able to guess who our next bird about to make her way in here is, but this here is Papaya. Papaya is our Swainson's, otherwise known as chestnut mandible toucan. Now, this is the second largest species of toucan, second only to toko toucans, but all the different species make their homes in the canopies of the rainforest in South and Central America. Now, Papaya here certainly has many beautiful features, but I'm sure the one that stands out to you guys the most is that very large bill of hers. Now, that bill can reach up to 4 times the length of her skull, which is nearly the length of her entire body. However, with a bill that large, it's actually deceivingly light. Now, if you were to compare the weight of that bill to the weight of all of her feathers combined, her feathers would actually outweigh that bill, which makes it a little bit easier for her to carry it around with her all the time. Now, Papaya here is a female of the species, which is a little bit tricky to tell when she's up here on her own, but if we did have a male up there with her, the difference would be pretty clear. While they do share that same beautiful coloration, male toucans have longer, more curved bills than the females, which helps for mate attraction as well as selection. Now, Papaya is also what we call a frugivore, which is just a fancy word to say that her favorite food to eat is fruit. Now, she can use that bill to reach up, down, all around her, grabbing all her favorite bites of fruit. She can even grab fruit from branches that may not be able to support her body weight, which actually makes her pretty opportunistic by nature. But my favorite fact about Papaya's bill is that she can use it for thermal regulation. Now, much like the radiator in your car, Papaya can expose her bill to different elements within her environment, which helps to warm herself up or cool herself down. But I do think that Papaya has done a wonderful job showing off her sheer beauty for us today. Let's give her a big hand.
Well, the next bird we'd like to introduce you to hatched right here at African Lion Safari, and that was 8 years ago. This here is FIFA, and FIFA is our green-winged macaw. Now, certainly one of the most fascinating things about birds is their ability to fly. Now, of course, not every single type of bird can in fact fly, but when you can fly, it is a means of survival. It means they can find food, seek out shelter, escape predation, and even those extra long flights that some birds have to do whenever they are migrating. Now, she is a tropical bird native to South and Central America, not really a long distance flyer, but when she hatched out here at the safari, we thought, how wonderful would it be to share with all of you how beautiful these guys are in flight. So FIFA's flight path today will be from her trainer all the way to this back corner, and a great example of her tail working hard in flight. She is eager today. She's off. And the brakes are out. And she's done it again. Let's hear it for FIFA, our green-winged macaw.
Well, we have certainly seen some amazing characteristics of birds today, but more specifically of parrots. However, there is one thing that parrots are considered famous for that everybody wants to hear our birds do. Does anyone want to guess what that might be? That's right, it is talking. Contrary to popular belief, it's not actually the bigger parrot species, such as the macaws you've seen today, that make the better talkers. It's actually smaller ones, such as Amazons, African greys, budgies, or even cockatiels. Now, making his way in for you guys today is the lovely Fernando. He is a yellow-naped Amazon, and he is quite a chatterbox. Let's hear what he has to say today.
All right, Fernando is the veteran out here today. He's 32 years old. Very impressive, but he's a parrot. They live a long time, so he can live anywhere from 50 to 60 years. 32 years for him means lots of experience and lots to say. So let's start off by greeting everyone. Hello! Pretty cheerful today. Now, he's a very polite little bird, has always insisted on asking the audience this next question. How are you? Hello. Great big how are you? And I'm seeing lots of smiles up there, lovely to see. As Mary pointed out, his name is Fernando. We do happen to call him Nando so often that he has picked up on singing it for us. What's your name? That's right. We do often hear him call out with his own name when he's looking for our attention because he loves attention. He's a parrot. They also like to play games. So his favorite game to play, I think you might figure out what it is. Likes a good tickle, of course. Now, just like you and I, when our little Fernando is tickled, he often responds with a little bit of laughter. Gets a couple of chuckles out of him. And he's our master of sound effects. So he's picked up a few. First off, he's going to share the sound that we make when we drink that nice cold glass of water on these hot safari days. Some pretty good chug lugs. It's been a hot summer, that's for sure. Now this little guy can also do animal sound effects. So we're going to start off with his impersonation of a pig. I keep telling him, that one's a bit rude, but we're not done yet. He barks like a dog. Not sure who he thinks he's scaring with that yappy little bark. Now he's obviously talented, and his talents extend musically, loves to whistle, sing, and even likes to dance. Nice little warm-up with his dance moves. Now he's ready to whistle. Keep in mind when he's whistling for you, different each and every presentation. He makes the tunes up as he goes along, so I never know what's coming out of his little beak, but let's see what he has for you guys today. There you have a very lovely Fernando original today. All right, not too bad at whistling, not too bad with his dance moves. He'd like to sing for you now. And I say like because he's definitely not the best singer. He's a little bit off key, but he certainly enjoys singing his favorite tune. Let's see if you can recognize it with your imagination. That was terrible, Fernando. Let's clear you up. All right, I don't think he was ready that time. Let's give him a little bit of a treat. Okay, you ready? Shall we sing? Anyone know that song? That's right, O Canada. So Fernando's favorite song is O Canada because he hatched here in Canada. So proud, in fact, he'd love to sing it for you all again. Very patriotic. He's done an excellent job out here today. Let's hear it for him. Now here at African Lions Parrot, we do believe that the first steps in conservation are education. So hopefully you had a little bit of fun today, but maybe you've learned a thing or two. And we're bringing a couple of birds up nice and close to the front, so you have the opportunity to come on down, have a better look, and ask any questions that you might have. Before you do that though, I'm going to remind everybody that around the corner in our conservation area, coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes, will be our first bird of prey flying demonstration of the day. Once again, thank you very much for joining us on safari. Couldn't do it without you. Fernando is already sending you off with a foot wave goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your day here on safari.